I got black bears, says Ragtag Army. Whatever that means. What's up, guys? I will be taking your calls, 888-775-3773. It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. You don't have to say U.S. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. It's Wednesday, the 19th of May, the year of our Lord, 2021. And I have a quick song to play for you. Well, it's not actually a quick song. I want to quickly get to it because it's actually a 5-minute long song. This is another Vroom song. Vroom, vroom, vroom. With a V. Be de vaca. Be chica. If you're Spanish. Or if you took Spanish in high school. This is I'm a Jerk. What a silly name for a silly song. And this is one of the only, and it's barely bearable. Maybe it's even unbearable. Love song, quote unquote. More like beta song. From Vroom. Vroom is that band that I've been playing all week, and I have more songs that I am excited to play about, but this one I almost have to apologize for. I'm sorry. I do have to apologize for it. Enjoy I'm a Jerk from Vroom, and it does confirm that is he a Christian, and yet he seems to worship the women. Listen to the lyrics, and I will also be chatting over the lyrics. Enjoy. Earmuffs, says John Smith. Hake speaking in tongues. What do you mean? What's your power level, Hake? I don't know what that means, so I will not disclose. Doesn't this already sound kind of like a pop punk love song? Can you guys hear it fine? Press 1 if the volume is good. I do want to be able to talk over it. Press 2 if it's too loud, drowning me out. Turn it up, Hake says, take care, Business Bear. All right, we can turn it up a little bit. I don't know if you'd heard the line just there. He said, I can't survive if I am on my own. And he's supposed to be a Christian. And he says, if we break up, I think we should keep in touch. You guys are saying gay. No, it's not. It's just worshiping the women. It's just worshiping the... Blink 182 again? Volume on the song is still low, says Wipeout Corona. People are saying one. Anthony Albino says turn it off. Worshiping women is gay. No, I mean, it's weak. Gay isn't weak. Emotional music. So guys, I will be taking your calls. 888-775-3773. Do you hear him? He said, I'm not afraid to admit I'm a jerk. Why are the men always, the males, always admitting they're wrong, and the women never admit they're wrong? Hake was a skater boy. Hake said, see you later, boy. Liking girls liking girls is not the problem. Worshipping them is the problem, Ian Wright. Right there, I was drowning out the lyrics, but he said, I need you like oxygen. Cool song, though. Yeah, I think it's a nice song. The lyrics are cringy. Cringe? It is an early 2000s song. Sounds like an early 2000s Reese Witherspoon song. Movie. Reese Witherspoon movie. Yeah, there's another song from these guys, Vroom, that sounds a lot like, what is that 90s movie? Dumb and Dumber. They had a nice soundtrack, even though it was a vulgar movie. Nice soundtrack. Newfound Glory. Oh my gosh. So guys, I'm going to be talking about the illegal aliens. I'm going to be talking about the fake hate crimes hype. And I call it fake hate crimes because all hate crimes are imaginary. I'm jamming out, says John Smith. Thank you. I'm black and I like it, says Rome Mental. Referring to the music? Hope so. That'd be nice. Sounds like it's off the Friends soundtrack. Terrible. Disney music. That's terrible. Hake has teen angst. I mean, I was listening to this in my teens. 19. Age 19. Only two sexes says bad word, and I'm censoring it. Weezer. Not quite morally straight Weezer. Yeah. I also have a cringy clip. Speaking of not morally straight, sounds like Reliant K. Wow, I didn't know you were familiar with them, the NYG. Speaking of cringy and not morally straight, I'm gonna play a clip for you guys, couple clips against you guys from Don Lemon. Don Lemon is not morally straight. He is a CNN Communist Nonsense Network host. And he is smearing the whites, what's new, and smearing basically Trump without naming Trump. If I had another chance, I'd be the one. Terrible. It's almost over, guys. I have calls already on hold. One line open, 888-775-3773. Almost over. Isn't the piano nice? Morally gay. All right. Let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how are you all doing? I am fine. Some little ethnic child gave a super chat during that song and said, sounds like Foo Fighters. And Improvazi says, pretty sure Hake likes the Strokes. Well, I mean, I didn't really like that one song, and then I started to like it later. Yes, the piano is nice, says Jim Eagle. I have a few super chats to read before I get into this stuff, and then I will get to your calls. Hang tight, guys. Sixto Rewhited coming through with super chats yesterday and today. Somebody said, I'm waiting for Hake's chair to fail when he leans back like that to stretch out his back. Sixto Rewhited says, Sir James Hake, Lord of the Good Hair, Czar of Little Caesars, the quintessential straight white Christian patriot. I must ask, have you ever tried hake? The fish? Yeah, there's a fish called hake, I think. I think it's like a whiting. Is it technically considered cannibalism if you do? Late night super chats, 9:42 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, interesting. Thank you for the support, the late night support. Yes, you too can give super chats when I'm off air if you go to streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. Sixto Rewhited also said, talking to kids about big issues like gentrification. Here I am stretching again. Gentrification and social activism is tough. This collection of articles, books, podcasts, and more can help spark the conversation. And he's referencing apparently a Pocket headline. Pocket openly endorsing anti-white, anti-American indoctrination of our youth. And Pocket is a propaganda outlet that shares other people's articles that smear America, basically. Smear America. Sometimes it's interesting information, but for the most part, it's evil. Shared by Firefox, which was originally founded by a Christian man who was kicked out of his own company for being morally straight and for moral straightness and for real marriage. He donated to the Prop 8, the push for Prop 8 in California, which I think in 2008, a majority of Californians voted to have marriage be between a man and a woman because that's what it actually is. Anyway. Sixto Refwhited said, I owe you 5 or a Caesar's hot and ready. Streamlabs takes donations from old Aspire debit cards on PayPal, apparently. I really ought to take them old cards off there. So here's me making up for that. No fake coins allowed in the make Hake say stuff machine. Wow, I appreciate that, Sixto Refwhited. Apparently you can, there's a cheat. And Forever Rochelle says, with a super chat on Streamlabs last night, y'all white boys been really bold lately, talking about Derek Chauvin didn't do nothing wrong. Didn't do nothing wrong. That's a double negative. So did he do something wrong? I bet if you was there, you won't have been saying the same thing you saying on the radio now, but yo, privilege doesn't let you see that side of the story. Whatever, Forever Rochelle. But thank you for the support. Appreciate that. I could quite clearly see. Actually, I started off saying, it doesn't really look right with his knee on the neck. It's kind of hard to look at. But then later I'm like, wait a minute. As a layperson, we don't know what we're looking at. So that's your privilege. But anyway, Rochelle's probably a friend. Thank you, Rochelle. So guys, quickly, before I get to calls, I have my second favorite caller already on hold. He wants to talk about carry on a conversation from yesterday in which Tony from New York City called in and a friend of ours, mine and yours, from, I believe, Arizona called in. He actually believes, and he's a friend, believes that the old Confederates were traitors to America. One friend of mine. I call him a friend because I know that he's I think of him as a decent guy. I think he is one. But he fell for that thing that, they wanted to break away from America. They didn't want to be Americans anymore. Well, what was America? Was the North betraying their values of states' rights and things like that? Never mind the slavery argument. Anyway, but before I get to calls, the Skim and this bipartisan group, which includes sleazy Joe Biden. Any quick note? This is like a theme for today almost, at least for 2 stories that I'm going to get to. Bipartisan, almost never good. I don't know if it's ever been good. At least nowadays, bipartisan means evil. Okay, it doesn't mean oh yeah, this is what we're working together because this is the good of the country. No, it's evil. The bipartisan means the establishment basically coming together to fight the America against America. Because the establishment is not pro-America. There's enemies in our government and in the media and everybody else. They're enemies of truth. Anyway, bipartisan means evil, FYI. But they're pushing this imaginary fake hate crime bill that this sleazy Joe is going to sleep on. He's going to sign. He'll sleep on it too. But this is called the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. Have you heard about it yet? COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. That's a mouthful of misnomers, right? Because COVID-19 was the buzzword. Oh, this is what the United Nations, the evil communist anti-American United Nations, anti-racist United Nations, they hate truth. Their corrupt World Health Organization, which is run by a communist, right? Dr. Tedros, is he even a doctor? Tedros, blah, 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 blah. That black guy who was from Africa somewhere. Communist guy. Terrorist type communist. He's been exposed by many people, including the great Tucker Carlson, the great Bill Lockwood, the great Jesse Lee Peterson, and me too. I showed a picture of him. Show a picture of him. He's exposed. He's promoted this women's, celebrating women stuff. It's funny. I saw a 2018 interview. This is a side note of Jordan B. Peterson. You know how Jordan B. Peterson had or has his appeal with young men primarily, but he helps everybody. But it rings true with young men especially, and young men are mostly on YouTube anyways. It's more of a male-dominated social media, whatever you want to call it, YouTube is. Whereas Tumblr is female dominated, and it is a hellhole. It is so evil. Oh my gosh, Tumblr. That's where little girls, 14-year-old girls, go to learn to be transgender. I'm serious. But anyway, he was questioned by this Jordan B. Peterson guy. You guys are familiar with him probably. He's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Gone through some tough times. Sometimes he says some deep stuff. But he was questioned about, oh, you're targeting mostly boys. Well, that's not true. He's just telling the truth. And meanwhile, the United Nations, under this Dr. Tedros World Health Organization nutcase, is pushing, oh, help women. Oh, UN women. They're specifically excluding men. And they're not honestly helping women either. Just a side note. So anyway, COVID-19 was a World Health Organization term. It's not an official term. It's just a World Health Organization term that everybody follows because they're suckers for communists. Anyway, and then hate crimes is another fake word. So this COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act is all phony. Because hate crimes, as I've covered many times before, is a politically charged, politically motivated fake crime. The crime itself is the crime, right? And then the hate part of it is an attack on the First Amendment and against white people, okay, and men, and Christians. And so it's on its way to sleepy President Biden's desk. The U.S. has a long history of discrimination against the Asian American and Pacific Islander community, says the far-left female-run outlet, The Skim. The bill was passed by both chambers of Congress. So the House and the Senate passed it. So pretty much if the House and Senate passes something, it's pretty much going to be evil. FYI. And it came in response to the supposed rise in hate crimes against the AAPI community, not reported by the FBI, because the FBI doesn't come up with their stats until the following year. Right? And the FBI is anti-white too, anyways, just a side note. They're not for truth. They're a bunch of liberals themselves. But this is activist, anti-Christian, anti-white. They're communist activists who are saying that there's a rise in hate crimes. And yes, they are surveying police departments, but police departments are subverted to track these fake hate crimes things. Because that case of that Hispanic guy who I played, he was punching the Asian man in the mouth with the nose of his gun. Is that the nose of a gun? The point of the gun? The barrel of the gun? He hit the Asian guy in the face with the barrel of his gun, this Mexican guy, over in South El Monte. And he said, allegedly, he said, go back to your country. And just because he said that, oh, it's a hate crime. No, he was targeting this guy because he wanted to rob him. And anytime you see something different about a person, whether they're fat, call them fatso, or fat A-word, or whatever. If they're Asian, oh, you chino, is what the Hispanics say. Or chink, or whatever. You call them whatever insult that you can. That's what evil people do. It's not a hate crime. Give me a break. That guy he should be like either deported, the criminal who robbed the Asian man, 60-something-year-old Asian man, robbed by a Hispanic guy with tattoos. Anyway, it's fake. It's fake. Hate crimes are fake. Imaginary. It is projection on the criminal or the innocent person. Many innocent people are falsely charged with hate crimes. There are many politically motivated people who fake hate crimes, mostly through tagging on college campuses. They're like, oh, they draw like a swastika and they don't even know how to draw a swastika. Or it's usually like gays or blacks or women who are doing these things, and sometimes Hispanics maybe too. Case after case after case, fake hate crimes. And I'm talking about just the fact that hate crimes are fake. The crimes themselves were done by POCs who are just trying to frame whites. Stop picking on fat people, James, says Daniel Thompson. So anyway, this fake hate crimes act, supposedly there was a nearly 150% rise in anti-Asian hate crimes in major cities. Maybe because people didn't have jobs, so they were sitting around. More people, the economy was destroyed, and more people had the opportunity to attack vulnerable people. And you'll notice that most of the attacks are against vulnerable people. You heard the lady on the Jesse Lee Peterson show earlier today on the JLP show in the second hour, I believe. A report from Stop AAPI Hate found there were more than 6,600 hate-related incidents. And I covered what those were. The majority were like alleged discrimination or perceived shunning or whatever like that. Or other. Most of them were not assaults or robberies, or some of them were coughing and sneezing at them. A few months ago, and people are encouraged to be immature, so of course there's going to be immature acts like that, coughing and sneezing at people. A few months ago, a gunman killed 8 people, including 6 women of Asian descent in the Atlanta area. That was the spas. That was that young man who was supposedly a Christian, and he was a so-called sex addict, according to the police. But they don't want to accept that. They say, oh, an Asian fetish is white supremacy. You know, because a lot of whites fall for that perversion of getting, I don't know, it's a mess. It's a big mess. Attacks against Asian Americans in broad daylight keep happening, they say. And this one is sick. In the Asian, hate crimes Asian, there's the one that they link to, this broad daylight attack, is that one that you probably saw beginning of April, end of March, in broad daylight, another anti-Asian attack. And it's March 31st, 2021. That's a New York Times headline. And I have a picture of this Brandon Elliott guy who was had no business being on the streets, but he was a homeless man staying at a hotel that was set up, probably he's staying for free because it was set up as a homeless shelter. And he kicked and stomped and punched this 65-year-old Asian woman. And there was security camera footage of the incident happen. You can see him like kicking and stomping, and allegedly he says stuff like, oh, you don't belong here. Black guy, right? A lot of blacks have the same resentment that the whites have about this unchecked immigration coming in and this invasion of our country. Who knows? Maybe this lady had been here for generations from the railroad Asian workers, right? Who knows? But still, this is like a mentally ill, spiritually ill, evil guy who actually was convicted of murdering his own mother back in 2002. This is more to, you should be blaming the Democrats and rhinos, and hopefully Trump didn't let this guy out of jail. I hope this was not Kushner's work, right? But the security footage shows him made anti-Asian statements. It's not an anti-Asian hate crime. That's not this guy's problem. He's evil. His heart's corrupt. He shouldn't even be out on the streets if he murdered his mother back in 2002. And then he got released in 2019. And then he did this to an unsuspecting, vulnerable. Weakness is hated, by the way. And people are nuts. People are nuts. And they will attack mercilessly against innocent people. And animals, by the way. Sick. And NBC, so-called news, which is Enemies of America, they say anti-Asian hate crimes increased by nearly 150% in 2020. And that was reported by that guy this Jewish guy, anti-American guy, anti-Trump guy, who's trying to pin it on Trump. He's like, oh, we can't contribute all of them to it, but we can definitely link it to some and correlate it. This Center for the Studies of Hate Crimes or something like that. Ridiculous. Anyway, Grace Meng. I don't have a picture of her, but it sounds like an Asian woman, a Democrat from New York, was pushing this bill, and the activists, the agitators, are still not happy. Over 100 Asian groups and LGBTQ plus groups, I don't know why they're lumped in with this, Are Asians more likely to be into that stuff? Asians in this country more likely to be into that stuff? Or Pacific Islanders into that madness? But they question whether the law would change the root problem of this hate. And they worried whether the reporting would be enough to prevent ongoing violence. Because they're saying they're setting up an online reporting system on top of the one that these AAPI hate people already started. And they're sending more so-called resources to law enforcement groups to document the supposed hate crimes. And they're sending the HHS, Health and Human Services, talk about superfluous government mess, to educate the community about hate crimes against the Asians and to educate them about COVID-19. It didn't come from China. Stop saying it's the China virus. Anyway, ridiculous. It is shameful. So anyway, that's that. I have some more stuff to cover. Illegal aliens dying off the beaten path, trying to avoid capture or being caught, avoid checkpoints, and drug overdoses. It's affecting the whites and the blacks and everybody, Americans. And there's some interesting points by the guy who's running a place in Virginia. But anyway, let me get to my second favorite caller. And then I want to get to Chris in Los Angeles. He's saying, when do we stop talking and start acting? Earl in Michigan, my second favorite caller. How are you doing?
Hola, buenos dias.
Hey.
Senior James Hake. How's my second favorite Nazi?
Doing great. But I'm not a Nazi, I'm American.
Yeah, you're American Nazi.
No such thing.
It is now.
Forget you. Who's your first? Or you just say that?
I told you. I'm leaving that open.
Wow.
You got any candidates?
Second place is first loser. Chris is saying, me, pick me. He got both his hands
He's
up.
lying on Chris.
Anyway.
There you go, lying on Chris. Throwing him under the bus. But
you know me. Whites don't stick together. We don't have a group mindset.
No, that's the truth.
We are extremely individualistic. Radical
you finally told
individuals.
all the lies you told, you finally told one truth.
Right.
But before I get to my subject matter, I think you had Zach on the call in yesterday.
The great, brilliant
he wanted
Zach.
to go to college.
Yeah, he's going to college and the military.
Yeah, he wants to go to college first and then join the military. I think he's talking about joining that group called ROTC.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I think that's the Reserve Officer Training Corps. But usually folks in college are recruited there, and then they join the military at a higher rank. But just let them know, just a word to the wise, the military is getting rid of racist people with racist attitudes. So if he go in there thinking he's superior to any other race, he won't be there long.
Did you know that he's black?
But,
Did you know that he's black, Earl?
Huh?
Did you know that Zach is black?
Do he claim to be black?
Did you know that he's black?
Does he claim to be black?
Did you know that he's black?
Does he claim to be black?
Did you know that he is black?
Does he claim to be black? Because you
Did
claim
you know
who's
that
black.
Zach is black?
You claim you know who's black and who's not.
Why are you laughing?
Such an arrogant fellow. But
Earl the Squirrel says family 53511. You're acting so squirrely.
Now on the
You're wiggling out of my questions. Zach got vaxxed, going to the military. Rainbow. Whoa.
Like a squirrel. I think he going nuts.
You missed Joel?
Yeah, I heard Nick played a little jingle that Joel made, but he He's getting better at it.
No, I think Zach is also half white.
Yeah, but
And it comes through. He's brilliant.
According to you determine who's white and who's black. But he's not really black because he's light.
Yeah. His soul is white.
Well, whatever.
Washed white as snow by the Lord.
According to you. Did you wash it?
No. The Lord Jesus Christ washes our souls. Well, I don't know. I'm playing around a little bit because he may still have.
I know. So I was just messing with you.
Yeah.
But getting back to the Civil War.
Half
Tony
white.
from New York.
Half white equals black, says Asmodor. See, true. Anyway, go on. The Civil War.
Just for note, whites consider one drop of black blood black.
No, I think blacks do that. Whites don't care.
No, that's what whites made the determination. That's why they made laws.
All right. Whatever you say.
Had any black in you, you were black. Ask Plessy versus Ferguson. But according to the Tony, he was right. The trade, the South was losers. The secessionists were losers, and traitors. It just so
traitors?
happened
How
that,
are they traitors? It's not like they were.
What is that? Well, maybe.
Do you have a right to secede from the Union?
I don't know if you want to call them traitors or treasonous.
Or what?
But
traitors or what?
Or treasonous.
Treasonous? How are they treasonous if they wanted to leave?
But
they didn't commit any treason. They did not do any. They did not try to overthrow the government. They did not try to oust illegally oust any or commit any mutiny. They just wanted to leave the country.
It was up to President Lincoln.
No, it's not up to President Lincoln what the South does.
Listen, it was up to President Lincoln. He could have charged him with treason or traitor.
So are you smarter than President Lincoln? Are you smarter than President Lincoln to call them treasonous or traitors when he did not do that?
Some of his cabinet members and generals.
And anyway, I don't think you're right.
Charge him with treason, but he thought better that it'd be quicker for reunification if he didn't seek retribution.
Duh. So then how come people are trying to smear these people?
No. So the fact that he didn't, it just was totally dependent on his generosity. In fact,
that's not generosity. That's unity.
He could have easily charged him with treason.
I don't think so. Not true. But, you're lying. It's not treasonous. It's not treasonous to secede. It's not traitorous to secede.
Well, that can be debated, but I ain't gonna waste my time debating all that.
Yeah, it's not even up for debate. It's not treason and it's not traitorous.
That's because you said
you people are treasonous to reality.
You people.
Earl is treasonous to reality, says Canadian David over on D-Live.
President Lincoln, it was a 16-year-old that was slated to be executed for treason, and President Lincoln gave him a pardon.
Nice. So then how come you people don't want to give the same grace to your fellow man?
No, we're just fighting history, buddy. Whether you like it or not.
You're fighting present day white people. You guys hate white people.
If you want to be, and you hate blacks.
No, I don't.
You focus on them entirely.
That's because you guys are so entertaining.
You think it's blasphemous.
I wouldn't have a show if it weren't for blacks.
If I know it, and everybody knows it.
Right.
That's why anybody.
So that's not hate. That's love.
Into the show, no, it's open season on blacks.
No.
That's what you advertise.
Open season for entertainment.
And that's why Zach, who didn't know nothing about your show, he figured it out in 2 minutes that this is open season for blacks.
Zach loves blacks. He's black.
Zach don't love blacks.
Yeah, he does.
He talks about blacks all the time. Now, if that's love,
he talks about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter does not love black people. So he speaks against the haters of black people.
He talks about all kind of things about black.
No, he doesn't.
No,
not
black
true.
might do. He focuses on.
Oh yeah, you're talking about that. You're talking about blah 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 Junior.
No.
Blah blah blah
I'm
Junior.
talking about anything that he focuses on.
That's another Black Lives Matter incident.
He don't focus on the ills white folks do.
Blah 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 Junior, also known as Andrew Brown Jr., allegedly drove at cops and got himself shot and killed. And Black Lives Matter types were going crazy about it, pretending that the cops were in the wrong, when it was clearly blah, blah, blah Jr. who was in the wrong.
Of course.
So he's talking about right versus wrong, Earl. What's wrong with you?
Well, I wasn't talking about that, but since you mentioned it,
yeah.
Just because the DA, who's compromised, almost choose to be the lawyer for the police.
Nice.
Instead of the prosecutor.
Because he knows that he can't convict them.
For the police, and he shows selective clips, and it shows that Brown turned away from avoiding the police, and he was fleeing away, and not at the police. So he made up a story to what do you call it?
He didn't make up any story.
Make the policemen seem innocent, that they had a right to shoot him in the back, fleeing from them. But they had all this information. They had everything. They didn't have to kill him.
And and to make the point over and over again that I've made to you before, the only reason that you know or care about this case, which you don't care about it, is because you're told to, because it's a fake black victimhood incident.
And the only reason you focus on it because you had white folks that was doing it.
No.
And you want to defend them.
No.
Yes,
not true.
Do.
Nope.
Yes, you do.
Nope. False. The only reason I focus on it.
You always say it's false because when you lie, you always say it's false when you don't have a leg to stand on.
Well, here's my leg. Let me show you my leg.
Yeah, you need to work on it.
I know. I'm working on it. I'm exercising a little bit more. But you tried to smear the great half-white, half-black Zach from Columbus, Ohio by saying, oh, he only smears blacks. But I brought up a case in which he smeared the evildoers and the liars, the fake victims, and told the truth about the incident.
Who was the fake victims and the evildoers?
The fake victims?
You call anybody that you disagree with evil, so you can parade around as if you're righteous, and everything you declare as evil is evil.
I've never claimed to be righteous, Earl.
Your point.
I've never claimed nor implied that I'm righteous. But I said...
Yes, you do.
No, I didn't.
When you call things
that's
evil,
your assumption. You're assuming. You're assuming.
So do you.
No.
When you call things evil, you're assuming.
No, I'm not, because if you're lying,
that's your point of
evil.
View.
If it's lying, it's evil.
That's your point of view. How do you know it's evil?
You don't even believe in right and wrong.
Evil?
Anyway.
How do you know it's evil?
Because lying is evil. Lying like that is evil. To deceive and spread anger.
You believe God says there's a time to lie.
Right, I know, but they're lying.
Evil.
Hold on, but they're lying for an evil purpose.
When did God say there's a time to lie?
Not bearing false witness. Hold on, Earl, let me explain it. Let me answer your question. The time not to lie is when you're bearing false witness against your neighbor, also known as white cops. They're bearing false witness against the white cops. That's evil.
I didn't ask you when not to lie. I asked you when did God justify lying?
Oh,
focus on the question.
I don't know. When ISIS wants to rape you.
He has never sanctioned lying.
Whatever. Whatever.
But Jesse and
then how come you support liars? How come you support the Democrat Party? That's all they do is lie. Anyway, as Amador says,
Trump, and he lies.
No,
he lies
not
more
true.
than anybody any president in history.
That's propaganda. That's not true. That's not true. That's simply not true, Earl.
Say it's not true.
No, Obama is a bigger liar, and so is Joe Biden, and so is Bill Clinton. By the way, you're just a sucker, Earl.
You're a sucker, and a what do you call it? What's that F word for lackey?
But flunky. Flunky?
Yeah, you a flunky for Trump.
Okay.
And all his lives.
Proud flunky. Asmodor says, he's going back to the Civil War thing. How many millions of people does Earl think Lincoln could have killed via firing squad, which is was the penalty for treason?
I don't know how many he could have killed, but he could have focused on the officers. He could have focused on certain people as treasoners.
Well,
and so forth, and
listen,
not the whole army.
It was a disagreement between white gentlemen, and it does not concern you, especially since you're here right now.
It's history. Yes, it did. Because if they had won, America would be a lot different than it is today.
Maybe better. Maybe better.
According to you, it may be.
Even according to you.
You all for slavery and blacks being slaves.
No, I'm not. I'm not for slavery. You're crazy. Only slavery I'm for is for the chain gang. I'm for the chain gang.
Why was the law specific for blacks, James?
Because blacks and whites,
and not white.
Because the communities did not mix well. They don't mix well.
Why
to this day,
we have white slaves?
Because to this day, there were white slaves. Anyway,
name them.
The Irish.
Name them.
The Irish.
No, they were indentured service.
Same thing.
Could you sell white children?
Anyway, the whites were not for sale. 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 Anyway.
You have no defense.
Yes, I do. The whites were not for sale. If the whites were for sale, they would be slaves. Duh. Anyway.
No.
Yes?
They made laws.
We're blacks for sale, Earl. We're blacks for sale.
The folks that was in power determined who were white, determined who was for sale and who weren't.
Who was for sale? Around the world, who was for sale? It was the Africans.
And not equal to them, and therefore, they should have no right.
Cry me a river. Cry me a river.
No, that's facts, buddy.
Yeah,
I know you
cry
don't
me a
like to
river.
deal with it.
Earl, my favorite dummy, says Turtle No Neck with a Trovo.
Who cares about what your trolls say? You're always reading what your nonsense trolls say.
No, it's not a troll. Important. It's not a troll. That's a supporter.
So what's important about what he said?
Because he donated. Money talks.
Oh, that's good for you, huh?
Oh yeah.
So he's a sucker for you, and therefore you read everything he says because.
And Ledge Klinger gave another Trovo colorful chat. And I'm keeping. It's 15 minutes in. We gotta end this. But hold on.
Let me talk to you a little later. I know I've been long.
All right, thank you, Earl.
I'm a self-regulate myself.
Thank you.
And I would say, adios amigos, and what's that word? What's that German word?
Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah. Salute.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye. Oops, I hung up on him. Ledge Klinger says, Earl doesn't understand policing at all. Police have a right to shoot a suspect if he's running, if they deem him a danger to the public, if he escapes, and partly based on previous knowledge from dispatchers about weapons, etc. Interesting, Ledge Klinger. Yeah, I've heard that before too. Yeah, if they pose an immediate danger to the community, they can shoot a fleeing suspect. Interesting. The blacks who arrived here in 1619 were indentured servants who were released and later owned land as freedmen. Interesting. That's what Asmodor says. And the great Dinesh D'Souza, the historian extraordinaire, said that the black slave owners were the harshest slave owners, FYI. And he said it, I believe it, that settles it. I kept him so long. Let me get to Chris in Los Angeles. Interesting call, Chris. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, James?
Doing well, thank you.
I don't know if you remember me from a while back.
We've talked.
Discussion on so yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about talk versus action. I believe that every man has a limit as far as there's a line that you cross, and that's where a man has to push back and stand his ground. And I know Jesus teaches, like, if a man, if you were to be struck, turn the other cheek, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So what is your take on on that? Like, I mean, I'm a Christian, but at the same time, like, obviously we know that Christian men these days are extremely weak,
right?
And it's like, okay, so and then I think part of it has to do with like this whole mindset of like, oh, like you have to be nice and accepting of everything,
right?
And so it feeds that cowardness,
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
I will say that people aren't even talking, and that's what's leading to more extreme evil ruling. Because people aren't talking, at least not outside of closed doors. People are cowards. I read this story of this Jeopardy incident in which the guy showed 3 fingers because he had won 3 times, but he showed his last 3 fingers, so people thought it was a white power symbol. And the Facebook group of former Jeopardy contestants, which are purportedly like knowledgeable people, right? People who know a lot of stuff. Those people the more radical ones formed a lynch mob against this guy, signed this 500 strong or so open letter telling him to condemn so-called white supremacy, when all he was doing was showing 3 fingers. He was showing 3. I won 3 times. But the more reasonable people knew that this was unhinged, but they stayed quiet. So they weren't even talking. So that's part of the problem. It's not just that there's a time when you stop talking and start acting. Talking is a form of acting, and people are not even speaking up freely. I mean, especially like white Americans have it the worst, I think. And I know that there's a lot of decent, humble people across all races who are not for this madness, who are, and other ethnicities as well, who also have a hard time speaking up, and they're afraid about losing their job and all that stuff. There's a time not to lose your job, and there's a time to lose your job. There's different.
Right.
I think I'm not the one to say when we stop talking and start acting, or even what that means, because it can sound kind of extreme, right? It can sound like, oh, we need violence, which I don't think is right. The earlier you nip evil in the bud, the less extreme your action has to be, or your speaking has to be. If you nip it in the bud, you catch it when it first crops up. That's why I support broken windows policing, by the way, is because if you don't let them get away with the little stuff, they're less likely to get away with the big stuff. For the most part, there's a lot of white collar crime that takes place too. You have to crack down on that stuff too. But
right.
Yeah, just speak up in the right way and live in the spirit, in the present. I love Jesse Lee Peterson's answer to questions like this. You don't know, like, say somebody's attacking you. There may be a time where you just duck out of the way and run, or there may be a time where you stand up for yourself, or there may be you never plan ahead what you're going to do given a situation, because each situation, even if it looks the same, it's different, and what's called for is different. So be led by the Spirit, I say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing I was going to mention is that, like, I know that there's how could I explain it? It's like a volcano, right? And the pressure's building up. And I know a lot of people who feel the same way or along the same lines as you and I do about all this madness going on in the world.
Yeah.
And so people are looking for different outlets, whether it's, Hake's live chat on YouTube or social media, or going to a rally or some march. And, but I think not all of them are traps, but I think a lot of them are, like, especially like these street protests.
Yep.
Where you have these like mobs and of like, it's like so polarized, like it turns into this crazy like herd mentality, mob mindset.
Yeah.
But it's really just a trap. And now it's like,
right. I mean, look at the January 6th incident. That was a total setup, a trap. Look at the Charlottesville incident. Those people,
Right.
they were primarily just condemning the tearing down of the statues. That's what the Charlottesville thing was. It wasn't
Right.
even, I mean, some of them were pro-whites who want a white country, right? But many of them were just what they call civic nationalists who just want the country to be honored and respected and unified for what's right, not for this destructive communism that's being ushered in. And you're right, it is a lot of traps. But it's not just, those aren't the places where you necessarily should speak up, because those are big, obvious things that you can do or not do. I think it's best to stay away from stuff like that. You're right. But like JLP said, you know, all this social media censorship, you're not actually deplatformed. Your life is your platform. And when you live right, that is a powerful statement to people who are seeing you and taking note. And when you speak up, telling the truth with, you know, like JLP says, with no anger, just standing on what's right, that's shining a light in the world. It's more powerful than just having a big platform and getting the word out to a bunch of people. And then those people turn into like angry trolls who just troll people and annoy people. You know, they all agree with you, but how much light is there really in that? You know what I mean?
Right. If they kind of water down or like diminish the sincerity behind, or just the righteousness behind whatever it is you're speaking out against.
Yeah, because they're just taking the knowledge and beating people over the head with the knowledge. It's like Bible thumpers or these people who push the racism stuff. These educated people, suckers. Yeah. And it happens a lot on the conservative side. Like the people who are for what's right, people can become Jesse thumpers. People can become Nick Fuentes thumpers. People can become whatever, and then they're not being a light for the, you know, in the world.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you know, that's a lot. That's what I believe as well. That, you know, it's the best way to make a change is to start with yourself, right? You know, be the change you want to see. I know it sounds cliche, but
I know,
I mean,
but it's true.
Yeah, like, you know, that's the best place to start, and then your that energy or that your presence and people will pick up on that and feed off of that and see like, hey, like he's onto something. I want to maybe I should kind of align with, not necessarily agree or align with everything that person, you know, like you want to follow another man. You don't follow another man, but obviously there's something about this person that he's doing. Maybe I should look at applying things to myself and see how I can better myself to be the change. And but that also means like, and this is just a personal story, like, and we talked about it before with this whole vaccine situation, and I see it, I saw it since day one, you know, where they're going to this on people, right? And they're you know, it's right now they're trying to entice people, you know, right now they're sugarcoating it,
right?
Oh, well, you know, like with this lotto, and I think it's Ohio, like, you know, you got to pay people, like, or they're trying to they call it the carrot, right? I
saw Bill de Blasio eating fries on camera and holding a burger and saying, "This is what you get when you get your vaccine. You get a free burger and fries." So ridiculous.
Right? And doesn't COVID like attack people with obesity? Like,
it does.
Doesn't it so it makes no damn sense.
Yep. Chris says, "Sign me up."
But, you know, I think what I'm like, I'll wrap it up here. You know, I have a feeling, something inside me telling me that, like, I'm going to have to give up everything that I've worked for in my life. And like, I have an awesome career and I've busted my butt to get to where I am. Yeah. But it's like, even though people just take the vaccine and get over it, like, you're just being a big baby. And I'm like, no, man, I've got to stand my ground. Like I'm not going to do it. Like, even if I have to sacrifice everything, you know, it's not always going to feel good to do the right thing. Yeah. You know. So, yeah. If you are against taking it, and I know that in the Hispanic culture and the blacks and actually the whites too, there is this valuing of, making it in life and career and education and all the work and the achievement. That is not the value. Those are not things that you should be attached to. You should be attached to your morals.
Yeah, it's an immigrant mentality too. A lot of the immigrants are really successful, work hard, and success-minded, and they will forsake values and morals to get there, and that's the wrong thing to be attached to. So if you don't want to do what they're trying to get you to do, I mean, you'll be taken care of if you're for what's right, and you probably have a strong work ethic anyway. You'll do fine. God will make a way if you stay with what's right.
Yeah, amen. Yeah, I agree with that. You know, even though it may seem like I'm losing everything, sometimes you have to lose everything to gain what you really should have, right? What God wants you to have versus like you said, material crap that means nothing in the grand scheme.
But make sure you're not caught up with. There are people who are going too far, in my opinion, or I don't know. It's my suspicion. Let's call it, because I don't really have an opinion about it because I don't know anything about it. It's my suspicion that some people are going too far with this anti-vax thing. I'm not pro-vaccine, but some people are saying stuff that isn't true, and just make sure that you know what you're doing when you refuse or when you accept. Either way.
Well, can I ask you one last question? And
yeah.
We don't have to go into it, but what do you think about like Bible prophecy?
I don't know. I don't know if there are any prophecies yet to be fulfilled. I don't know if they've all been fulfilled.
Okay. Yeah, that's a whole other
Are there
topic.
any?
I'll save for the next one, I guess.
I have another caller asking me the same question, so I will get to Chad in Alberta, Canada, wants to talk to me about that. So
okay, cool. I'll save it for him then.
Are you going to be able to make it to the men's conference out in Orlando?
You know, I'm supposed to be moving to. I actually have a house in Florida.
Nice.
And I wish it was just a little bit later. I would be able to make it. I'm moving back. I'm leaving Cali. Moving back here at the end of the year. Yeah, I'm just done with this place. So I'm not going to make it to answer your question. But
okay.
Yeah, but hopefully you guys come back the following year, and I'll be there. I'll be waiting on you guys.
Nice. That's cool, man. Well, I wish you well with your move and everything else. Take care, Chris.
I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll come by and visit you guys in L.A.
That sounds good.
All right. Take care.
You as well.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
So, guys, I have Chad in Alberta, Canada, coming up after this break. We're at like a couple of minutes till, and I still want to cover these illegal aliens coming in, and some of them are just collapsing and dying. Actually, I also have Brian in Killeen, Texas, talking about the social media censorship, a first-time caller, and drug overdoses. It's an attack. With the shutdowns, they're licking their chops that people are suffering. They love it. And that's why Joe Biden gets all emotional. Oh, you guys, there's an empty seat at the table right now because you lost somebody to COVID. Or these people are overdosing. Oh, let's feel sorry for them now. People used to criminalize drugs, and now they're feeling sorry for the druggies. And that does them no good either. And it's a big mess. They're licking their chops that Americans are weak and dying and sick. What a mess. They really are. It's so evil. And I also have Don Lemon to play for you guys. Don Lemon, not morally straight. Okay, guys, let me play for you another Vroom song. Vroom, vroom. I have a few songs to play for you guys in the coming days. This song is called You've Changed, and it's from the album. I looked up the album. It's Throws Like a Girl. Anyway, You've Changed by Vroom. Enjoy, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Hang tight for the rest of Hour 2 coming right up.
We forget about those years, how we give it into
wasn't here, 'cause everything's changed now. Life was so simple, it's insane now. I wish I could step off the train now. My memories begin to fade out, but I won't let them go. Take me home. I never wanted to get old like this. Take me back unto my younger days of innocence. And the war that rages on wouldn't callous us at all. We weren't frightened by the threat of nuclear attack. And we didn't have to care about government affairs. And I wish I still was there, 'cause everything's changed now. Life was so simple, it's insane now. I wish I could step off the train now. My memories begin to fade out, but I won't let them go. Take me home. I never wanted to get old like this. Take me back until my younger days of innocence. Tonight, I became what I hate. I lost my youth and I don't like things this way. On the edge, everyone feels the same. Things were better in our more innocent days, and I wish they'd stayed the same, the same, the same. I became what I hate. I lost my youth and I don't like things this way. On the edge, everyone feels the same.
So, guys, how are you liking it? Play some Voivod, Hake. Voivod. What is that? Epstein's Ghost? This is emotional music. Metal music. Metal. It's okay. Vocals are kind of poppy. Just Burning Orchids. Sounds like 90s music. I'm going to go out back. Whoa, Jeanette. It's aight. Come on, guys. It's not too bad. It takes me back to the 2000s. This is Drivel, says Emperor of Cats. I was born in 2000, says Lil K. Nice. It's hard to believe that anyone would listen to this music without being torched and forced to listen. I didn't realize that was you saying that, Skip. That's funny. This sounds nice, says Lin Yenshin. Thank you, man. Hake likes that 90s teeny bopper S, says Doom Jesus. Very true. Very true. Yeah, this is Vroom, and from the year 2000. Grows Like a Girl is their album. And I have a couple of other album or release songs to play for you in the next couple of days. But you know, I was thinking about before I get back to calls and stuff, I was thinking about their so-called love songs or beta "Oh, You're Leaving Me" songs, like worshiping the girl songs. The first song on this album that's for a girl was called "I Get Nervous." It's called "I Get Nervous," and then another one that I played for you at the beginning of this show, today's show, was called "I'm a Jerk." And then the last one is called "Dumb Like That." And that's where she just completely ignores him. And It's such a terrible, dreary, down in the dumps song that I skip it. It's the last song in the album. But anyway, Hake's surfing days. I only surfed like once or twice in my life. Anyway, let me quickly get to Chad in Alberta, Canada. He wants to talk about this Bible prophecy thing, and then I'll tell you about these illegals passing out and dying in the desert on private American land. It's terrible. But Chad in Alberta, Canada, thanks for holding. What's up?
Hey, James.
Hey.
Yeah, the reason I asked the question is because I find it astonishing Christians today standing on the side of the Palestinian terrorists. We've had some protests in Toronto here in the last couple of days.
Are they liberal Christians or are they like nationalist Christians?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Because I haven't seen it. I've seen some. I could imagine some liberal Christians, the Black Lives Matter type supporters, who call themselves
they're
Christians.
Not conservative.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I'm sure they're liberal.
But there are some Christians who believe they don't necessarily support Palestine, but they believe that Israel is, they're bombing Palestinian children and Israel, we shouldn't be supporting them as much as we are, America supporting Israel financially and giving them money for weapons and stuff like that.
Right.
So I know liberals and I know like nationalist Christians who are both kind of against Israel, at least against helping Israel.
Yeah, well, I can't see how you can be a Christian and not support Israel, because
that's how I grew up too.
Well, you see, the Messiah comes through Israel, right?
Are you talking about in the future or already came through Israel?
Well, Jesus came through Israel, right?
Yeah, the ancient one, yeah. Ancient Israel.
When he comes back again, he's coming through Israel again. Like once they build their third temple, right?
I don't know much about that stuff. That's where there's a lot of people who mock the Christians who believe that, and I don't know who to believe or if to believe either way. Because I don't know what that's in Revelation or something like that.
No, it's in the Old Testament.
So, but how do you know that that's what it means? That Jesus is going to come back a third time?
Can I read one verse from Isaiah?
Yeah, please.
Okay, well, it's Isaiah 46, I believe, verse 9. It says, "Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure." So God is the God of prophecy. There's no prophecies in the Quran, for example. There's no, Buddha didn't have any prophecies. There's no prophecies in the Hindu Vedas. There's no prophecies in the Book of Mormon.
Have there been any prophets in the last 200 years? I mean, 2,000 years?
I'm not fully, I don't know a lot about it, but, God already prophesied everything that's happening to Israel, right?
I know, but you could say that you can read these prophecies and say they apply to something, to this or that, and I don't know that.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Well, there's 300 prophecies about the Messiah, about Jesus. Okay, and Jesus apparently fulfilled them all.
Okay,
and for centuries, people have been trying to disprove the Bible through prophecies, trying to say that the prophecies in the Bible are false, but they can't prove it. Now, a lot of people have claimed to be prophets, but if it doesn't come true, they're false prophets.
Right.
The only prophecies that have actually come true, and, remember there was a caller yesterday on Jesse's show who believes in God, but he's not able to believe in Jesus, right? Because he thinks the Bible's a fairy tale, right? And
Yeah.
he's a man of science, right?
Yeah.
And, like, I was the same way, I was Catholic, but then I became an atheist because I believed in the evolution theory.
A lot of Catholics turn atheist.
Yeah, but then I found out that the lower rib is the only bone that'll grow back if you take it out.
Dang.
So I think to myself, well, like, how did they know this hundreds and hundreds of years ago? You know what I mean? Like, the whole book, in Genesis, woman was made from the rib, right?
Right.
So obviously Adam's rib grew back, right? But it's actually true because that's what they, if they had to do like a bone graft, they use lower ribs, right? Because it grows back.
Wow.
So, but this thing that's happening in Palestine, the Arabs claim that Palestine belongs to the Arab people, but it never did. And, the UN, they're on the side of Israel. And the Bible says that Israel will never be numbered among the nations.
Did you say the UN is on the side of Israel?
No, or they've always been against Israel. They've spent about a third of their deliberation about.
That's partly what makes me kind of like Israel, is that the UN is against it.
Oh, they're absolutely against it. They've never condemned. They've never condemned any Arab country for coming against Israel. 0 times.
Right.
But they've condemned Israel over 300 times.
Yeah. They also like to condemn America too. They love condemning America.
Well, because
anything that they can get stuff out of.
Yeah.
And smear whites.
But it's just amazing to me because, like, Israel. I know I can go on and on.
No, I'm chuckling because Cheesehead69 says UN versus Israel is a false dichotomy.
Yeah. Well, if they don't solve this problem with Palestine, you're looking at a nuclear holocaust. Israel has the bomb, folks. They have nuclear submarines that can launch these missiles.
You think they would do that to Gaza? It's like their neighbors. I don't know if they'd want to deal with the mess that would be created from that. But
Israel has a policy that when they retaliate, they don't want civilians to die, right? They last week they took down a tower in the Golan Heights, and they gave them 45-minute warning so they were able to evacuate the building.
Right, I know that. But
the media doesn't talk about that. Israel wants peace. God said, "You will not trade the land, for the land is mine. You will not trade it for peace," and that's what Israel's been doing. I think in 2006 they gave some land, and then Hamas moved in.
Wow.
So Israel's been wanting peace forever, but the Arabs, every time there's a peace proposal, they always turn it down.
There's a whole lot of evil people, though, running. There's a big fight for control of Israel. It's kind of like in America. Yeah. They're a very divided country. And so there's a whole lot of evil coming from and going on in that country, too. So I don't know, man. But I don't know. I don't know that those prophecies mean what you think that they mean.
Well, I just don't want. No, I'm not.
I agree. It's wrong to hate. I agree. It's wrong to hate or be against either of those people, really.
Well, the way I look at it is, if the Bible's not true, then just forget it.
I know, but you don't know if you're. You're not clear, or I don't know. I don't know what specific prophecy you're even talking about. People talk about the third temple.
Well, I don't know.
But I don't know what that means, and how do you know that that it means what you think it means?
Well, can I just quickly explain it?
Yeah, real fast.
So God took the Israelites out of Egypt, brought them into the land, okay, and gave them these Levitical laws, right? If you follow my laws, you'll have abundant crops. You won't have pestilence, disease, and all that stuff, right? But if you come against me, rebel against me, I will scatter you all over the world. And that's exactly what happened. They're called the Wandering Jew. God scattered the Israelites all over the world. And he says, I will bring you back into the land in the last days. And what I find really, Israel is the only country or state or whatever you want to call it that's ever been conquered and then given back to them. I don't think it's ever happened in history where the people have been brought back into the land. And it's exactly what God said.
That was after World War II? But how do you know what that,
Yeah,
if that
it was
means,
around-
how do you know that's what the Bible was talking about?
Well,
You're
because
just
it's happened.
saying, oh, this looks a lot like what the prophecy said, but I'm not buying it necessarily. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I don't know.
I'm just
We gotta,
saying that
we have to just endlessly fight for what's right, man, because it's hard to know
No, I
what the
know.
truth is going on over there. There's a whole lot of
Yeah, but
shenanigans going on.
it's a lie. It's a complete
What's a lie?
that Palestine belongs to the Arabs.
Well, never mind that. That's their fight. Let them fight it out. If we want to support them, I guess we can support them. But
Do you know why? Do you know why they want to wipe out Israel?
why?
The reason is, it's because of Islam. Islam says that the last day, that's the day that all the Islams, or I don't know what you call them, Muslims, are resurrected. That day will not come until the last Jew is destroyed, until Israel is destroyed.
Okay.
And then apparently it says in the Hadith.
A whole lot of these guys don't even care about that, though, Chad. They just fall in with this.
No, I think
they
it's-
took the
the
land
basis
from
of
our
it.
forefathers. They have all kinds of different reasons for hating
Well, there
Israel.
was a sheikh back in.
I can't really get too much into this. My head is full.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll call back some other time.
that sounds good. But don't be worrying about those people who are
No, I'm not worried
hating.
about it.
But you called in asking about or complaining about the Christians or so-called Christians who are
It's
on the
because
side
they
of
don't-
Palestine. And there's
They
this,
don't know. They don't know the history of Israel. That's why.
but the present
They're
is what's important, and you're relying on
I
the
know
Bible,
that.
and I'm not sure that the Bible says what you think it says.
Well, I read you
there-
one verse.
There's I know, but
Right.
it didn't tell me anything really about the present times.
Well, it's saying that God is the God of prophecy.
But that's irrelevant to today, because you don't even know if there's any prophecies that have not been fulfilled already, and you don't know if there's been any prophets in the last 2,000 years. So you're acting like God is dormant or something,
He's not dormant. He sits on the throne still.
right? But
Israel will never be wiped out. Now they've
Okay.
been brought back into the land. So there you go. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it.
Alrighty.
Take care.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Herb Jerry says Zionists are killing Palestinians and Hake and JLP aren't calling it out. I mean, we mention it, but what's to say? Who knows what's really going on? Are they innocent Palestinians? I don't know. Are they using human shields? I don't know. Give me a break. They won't nuke. They want the land, says Bradley Smith. Yeah. Tel Aviv, says Skip McVerney, is the homosexual capital of the world. Yeah, kind of like Atlanta, Georgia, and San Francisco, California. Terrible stuff going on. Evil. Anyway, real quick, let me just show you a couple of pictures of this white man who's going in some cases, I don't know if he's helping to try to rescue these guys, but for the most part, he's finding dead bodies. This is illegal aliens, according to the Epic Times, walk a deadly path around a border checkpoint. I have to cover this. So the border, there's this border body searcher named Don White, 68 years old. Looks like a white man. And he's finding skeletons, bones. I have pictures of this guy. And the headline from the Epic Times and the map of the county where they're finding supposedly most of these bodies. But look at this guy. He has permission from private ranch owners to walk like across 2/3 of this county and find corpses of illegals. who are trying to dodge a checkpoint. And the do-gooders will be like, oh, they're so desperate. We need to just let them in. They're desperate. They're refugees. They're economic refugees. No, they're illegals. He found one person, and, you know, he finds skeletons or parts of skeletons because animals take them. So they don't find a complete skeleton most of the time. He mostly finds bones. And there was one guy that had started taking off his clothes because, I don't know if you're dying of thirst or dying of whatever, overheat or hypothermia or whatever, you start to go crazy. Your brain doesn't work right. So he was starting to take off his clothes. He was close to a do-gooder water jug. You know those do-gooders? The evil enablers who drop off jugs of water? They're pretending to be humanitarians, but really they're enabling the illegals to come through here, through into these wild lands. Actually, some of it's ranch-owned lands, and people are dying on there. And actually, people are committing crimes on there too. These illegals are coming in sometimes, and the cartel members too, and they're stealing stuff. They're destroying property. They're, in some cases, killing and doing all kinds of evil things to Americans. There are places in southeastern Arizona, I remember, where you're advised not even to go because the illegals are there. Oh, this is a high traffic area for the illegal crossers. So in America, we have signs telling us not to go certain places in our own country because the illegals are taking over the place. Crazy, huh? And the guy who was taking off his clothes, he'd been deported many times before. If you're deported and you cross again, that's a felony, by the way. So they are criminals, many of them. FYI. FYI. Hake, I'm glad your podcast is available if I miss the live stream, says Latin Patriot. Nice. Nice. Yeah, so crazy stuff. And then let me quickly just cover this drug overdose situation. And then maybe a quarter till I'll cover the Don Lemon thing. Drug overdoses. You know, a whole lot of whites are dying by the opioids, and many others too. But the opioid epidemic. People have these pains. Oh, my back, I think I need opioids. Nope, not going to do it. Hopefully. That's why I'm eating better, exercising, hopefully sleeping right. I haven't even drinking rock stars in days, weeks. Are you happy with me? All you pot smokers, I've not taken caffeine, so you can't use that against me. Caffeine is a crazier drug than pot. Or alcohol. Nice. Anyway, drug overdoses. With the scam-epidemic. I have some pictures of these people. And it's pretty morbid, honestly. There's these halfway houses. And here's a picture of this guy. His name is Chris Berry, I think. He's one of the people suffering with this stuff. He has all kinds of fear and tattoos. And I think he injured something. He was like an athlete, and he got injured and got hooked on the opioids. Georgia, Florida did that same thing too. Georgia, Florida, the guy with the knee on his neck who died, he got injured or something, and he was on opioids. He and his girlfriend, whom he called Mama, the white girlfriend. Like so many of us, we got hooked on opioids. And they make it into a victimhood thing. And there's this Christmas tree looking thing. This is morbid. This is at a house that's meant to help people. Help people get past their thing. Non-judgmental place. And it's fine. Don't judge, right? But this part is not fine. It's showing pictures of these people who all died from opioid overdoses. Photos of people who have died due to their opioid addiction on a tree at the McSheen Foundation, a nonprofit recovery community organization in Richmond, Virginia. The Epic Times, a reporter visited there earlier in May, just a few days ago, actually. Isn't that morbid, meaning loving of death? That's what I mean. Oh, yeah, that's going to make everybody feel better. That's joy. That's creepy. What in the world? And then it's also kind of female, these organizations. There's one there's like a rock garden or something. Memorial Garden at the McShin Foundation, a nonprofit recovery thing. And it has a pebble, like a river rock, smooth, and it's painted, and it has polka dots on it, and it has the handwritten note, "Stay, please." That's depressing. You know that was a woman who did that. Stuff that doesn't actually help, right? So there's this guy named John Schinholzer. He's the president and co-founder of the McShin Recovery Resource Foundation. He says that he's been in long-term recovery since 1982. What does that mean exactly? Is he helping people? Or he helped himself and now he's helping others? But this guy, John Schinholzer, he said that he's seen an explosion of these people overdosing and on opioids and drugs and all that stuff, addicts, ever since the communist shutdowns. And that is what they wanted. That was predictable. Trump was even predicting it. Well, he was calling it out because it was happening too, under his watch too. But he was let the locals handle it. There is an interesting point that he makes about this situation that I kind of agree with. It's nice. He says, one thing I try to impress upon people is that when you discover you need recovery, you've got to get the patience lecture. And he calls it a patience lecture, meaning be patient. Because it takes about 2 or 3 years to reprogram your brain to do the right thing on a regular basis. That's what he told the Epic Times. Isn't that interesting? So be patient with yourself if you're all out of control. Interesting, huh? Because people get all frustrated, thinking that that's going to do something. Most of the illicit fentanyl in the United States is manufactured in clandestine labs. Clandestine labs? I don't know how to pronounce that word. Hidden labs in China and possess strong opioid properties that make it attractive drug of abuse, according to Customs and Border Protection. You know, it's coming in through the border, FYI. They drive tons of fentanyl to this country, China does, according to this guy. There's this other guy, Jerry Barton, at the McShin Foundation, real fast. He lost a friend to suicide stemming from addiction, supposedly. He lost his sister and his girlfriend to these opioids, supposedly. And in February, he found his childhood friend dead from opioid overdose. Richmond, Virginia-based guy. And then he was 21 months clean. And then the shutdowns hit. And he's like, one hit. And then he got into all kinds of drugs after that. One hit won't hurt. A one-time hit. I could get away with it, Satan told him. And he started using heroin, crack, and cocaine. And he was experimenting with meth and acid during his so-called relapse, right? Exactly what the government wanted. Chris says, I like the I in clandestine. Clandestine? Clandestine. Nice.
I like I.
Clandestine, like maritime. Okay. Thank you, Chris and Big Bump. Teaching me English. Oh, and by the way, they always have like this one pretty girl at these recovery places. What's she doing there? It was weird. Just a side note. Mess. And you hear about addicts getting together. Terrible, terrible idea. Anyway, that's just a side note. Some sick stuff. 18% increase in suspected overdose submissions. We have so much in common. Yeah, we're both a mess. I thought you're never supposed to share your weakness with the women. They like seeing the pathetic guys, I guess, and the rough guys. 62% of participating counties experienced an increase in overdose submissions, according to ODMAP, which is a tracker that provides real-time suspected overdose data. Numerous studies revealed a spike in overdoses this past year, thanks to the communist shutdowns. Sick! And I told you they... Anyway. That's that. Fauci. Look at Fauci real quick. Fauci with his mask, even after he's vaccinated. He and his fellow Clinton fangirl boy, George Stephanopoulos, were talking about, oh, I'm vaccinated, but I still like to wear my mask indoors because I don't want to give mixed signals. That's all he's ever done. He's 80 years old, decrepit. He's probably evil. He's got to be evil. That's why he's lasting. Like those old ladies that last forever. That is mixed signals, exactly. He's got penguins on his double mask, on the outside mask of his double mask. What a weirdo. Shameful. Hillary Clinton and Rachel Maddow fanboy. Sicko. Anyway, I got to get to Brian, a first-time caller in Killeen, Texas. Brian, how are you doing? Thanks for holding. What's up?
I'm doing well, Hake. How you doing?
Doing well as well. Thank you.
No problem, man. I was just thinking it's Hake with the great report, not another fake report.
Nice.
What do you think about that?
I appreciate it. It's accepted.
Amazing. Hey, man, I was calling originally to comment on, you were talking about social media platforms earlier, and you said that social media is not your platform. Your real life is actually your platform.
Yeah.
I could not agree with you more, man, because when I started to overcome and everything and started becoming a man, I was on social media, and I'm going back and forth with these people, man, like 90 going north, and they are just getting my words twisted and all types of stuff. And the moment I decided to get off social media, I started bumping into people who were talking to me on social media, and their whole demeanor would change, like, completely. They would see what I was saying, and it honestly made me realize how social media now is doing exactly what you said America's doing, which is dividing us.
Yeah.
It's literally like it's twisting our words up. It's keeping us from seeing each other, and it's fueling the egos of those who don't want to see the truth, and it's amazing.
Yeah. You know, I stole that line, your life is your platform, from JLP. And he also talks about people's addiction to words, how people get to be intellectuals. And you know how your words get all twisted by these people who, like, they act like they're not even trying to understand you, right? They just totally just make a mockery of your arguments. But that's what I think Twitter and Facebook and these other things do, is get you addicted to work. And even YouTube, even people talking, when you see them talking. When you see them talking, that's a better form of communication because you see a little bit more where they're coming from. But with just written words too, people get all into words, and that just addicts people to words and judgment, and blindness.
It addicts them so much that they start to create their own words.
Yeah.
Like, it's hilarious, man. This one guy was arguing with my friend the other day, and he made up a word. He said fatiguing.
Fatiguing?
Fatiguing, like to be fatigued.
Yeah. Interesting.
But fatiguing isn't even a word.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, they make up stuff like, they try to be catchy. They put "Stop Asian Hate" hashtag or AAPI, and they come up with biphobia and interphobia and all kinds of stuff. They want to coin things.
But
very true, Daniel.
To the other caller that called in that wanted to make that biblical connection about prophecies, I just wanted to say, man, you study long, you study wrong, brother. You know, we're not God, so don't try to figure out what he's doing.
Right. There's part of the reason I press him on that is because most of the people who are into that stuff, who are into the third temple, I don't even know what that really means. I've read Revelations and I've read the whole Bible, but that didn't really sink in, that part of it. I don't know what it means, and I don't think that these people know what it really means either, because they believe all kinds of stuff that's not true. They make up they're the same weak Christians who aren't doing anything to stop America from our self-destruction. And their own families are a mess. I don't know Chad either. I like Chad, but I don't know him. But there's a whole lot of people who are into that stuff. They just sit back, oh, America's supposed to go down the drains like this. Oh, we're just going to wait for the rapture type stuff. No. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. And I was trying to call Jesse the other day to say something to what another caller was saying about the Bible, but I never read the Bible, man. And I never owned a Bible until I was gifted with one recently. And even now that I have it, I think I've opened it twice, you know?
Wow.
But I don't need to read the Bible in order to know God. It's amazing.
Yeah, true. But it's there's a lot of stuff in it that rings true. It's nice.
But that's all I have for you, Hake. I don't want to take. I know you got about 10 more minutes before you want to cover.
Thank you, Brian.
I want to see that Don Lemon.
Oh yeah, true. All right, man. Take care.
Take care, brother.
All right. Jim Eagle said that Fauci said in the beginning of COVID that masks don't work. He went on 60 Minutes and said that, but nobody listened until he started fear-mongering. Yeah, that's true. He's all, I didn't, and then later he justified his lies, saying, I didn't want to start a panic because I wanted the health workers to be able to get their masks. Give me a break. Weasel. Yeah. He says people want excitement in their lives. They don't want to hear about, oh, it's not a big deal. They want death and fear. That's why the mainstream media hyped and overhyped the China virus. Whereas Trump was even. He was serious about it, but he was even. He didn't want to spread panic. Anyway, listening to the addicts is like listening to a fairy tale full of fighting with dragons and monsters when the moral of the story is feel bad for me because I can't control myself, says Take Care Business Bear. Yeah. Jim Eagle says that's why they have rehabs and group meetings because it's all emotion. They are addicted to emotions. You suffer in silence and get over it yourself. You have to want it. You treat it just like any other problem in your life. You just get over it and move on. And there are people who get over this stuff. The drugs stuff. Anyway. Quickly, I got to get to William out of the Bay Area in California. William, it's good to hear from you again. How are you doing?
It is definitely good to hear from you again, Nick. How's everything going?
Everything is going well. I'm James, but I'm not insulted that you thought I was Nick. He's a great host.
Man, you know what? I wanted to just touch on a few things. I know you just got a few minutes and everything.
Yeah.
Shout out to your last caller from Killeen, Texas. That is, now here's your little history lesson for today. That is the biggest military base in the world.
Is that Fort Hood? Is Fort Hood in Killeen?
It's Fort Hood.
Nice.
It's right between Waco and Austin, Temple, Texas. That little triangle. A lot of people in that area. And to give you a little history lesson, this, you know, for Desert Storm and those last couple of wars we had, when they deployed, I think they have something to do with the mechanized division, and it is huge. It is huge. It is a huge base. But shout out to Fort Hood, Killeen, last caller. This Mr. Brown thing in North Carolina.
Yeah, Andrew Brown Jr. I call him blah, blah, blah Jr.
Okay,
yeah.
Nick. Let's get started here.
James, not Nick. James.
I hope all you liberals are on the radio listening right now. This is you said say his name? Okay, I'll say his name, plain as day. William in the Bay Area is going to say it. Black Thug. In a town that you're going to boycott a town that has, do you know what the population is in that town?
No.
17,000. What are you going to boycott?
Good point.
What are you going to boycott? Because I bet you the Chamber of Commerce, tax office, sheriff's office, post office, gas station, where they buy their Switzers, are in the same building
Yeah.
with a town of 17,000. Boycott it if you want to. The next thing, you had a caller talking about Israel. First of all, I'm with your last caller. Don't play God with that situation. As far as modern day world order, Israel is recognized as a legal state, legal or legit state. The Palestinians, we know who those people are. There's a lot of family members over here in the United States. Those people really don't want all this drama. This is Hamas. And Hamas is like Black Lives Matter. Can you imagine if we let Black Lives Matter make trouble for us with other countries, what position we would be in? They wouldn't recognize us as a country anymore.
So you're saying the regular Palestinians are not for this conflict?
No, I think most of them are not. Who the hell wants a bomb going off next door? I mean, no, you don't want that. Okay, so what happens is you get to playing God with this, but as far as modern day history, you got to remember after World War II, the Jews were just, getting cooked in ovens and buried alive by Hitler. And after World War II, the Jewish people was like, no, we're not having it no more. And they are the number one ally to the United States, and all of their equipment works. They don't test anything like the United States. We don't test. Our stuff works. Their stuff is the best. Do you know that's the number 2 army in the world?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Okay. And let me tell you, they don't go with the rules of engagements too well over there in Israel. They take care of business. If you shoot a Stinger missile, shoulder missile from a school purposely to create propaganda, Israel will take a howitzer and to say to hell with that trajectory way up in the air and make it land on the roof. They will shoot it straight at that school and level it. So
yeah, it's hard to know what's really going on. It's fighting on the other side of the world, and it's being
for the younger people. In 1967, Israel kicked 5 countries' tail in 6 days. It's called the 6-Day War. Do the documentary, you'll figure it out. We know about all the Jesus Christ thing and where this place is.
Is that the one with the USS Liberty? Okay.
Well, they've always had issues over there. You got to think about what the Israelis went through, or the Jewish people went through in Germany in the concentration camps. So these guys don't play, and they're very, very familiar with terrorist attacks all the time. Like I said, you shoot anything from a school there, and your American military is going to say, can't do it, rules of engagement.
Right.
Israel doesn't do that. They'll level your place. You shoot anything from any building, and they will shoot a missile and level the whole building.
Crazy.
And you got to remember, this country kicked several. They were surrounded by all these places. All those places they surrounded Israel in 1967. They kicked their butt in 6 days, took all their land, then gave it back. Now, the caller that was talking about the biblical thing, here's your history lesson. That's fine and dandy. That's Bible stuff. But we're talking about real life stuff right now. And right now, Israel runs that show. And if you get to messing with the person that's running the show, you're not going to have a very good day. Just think if Mexico was messing with us militarily.
I have a caller who has a question for you. You want to talk to Maze?
Sure.
Maze in Dayton, Ohio has a question for William. This might be interesting. Maybe.
Hey, Maze.
Maze, how are you doing?
I'm just fine, James.
My favorite caller.
I hear him discussing Black Lives Matter.
I like that name.
Yeah.
I like that name.
Palestine is having the same problem the people up here are having.
What's that?
Because in 1947, what happened? Who had the land? And whose land was it in 1947?
When it comes to world order, that doesn't mean anything. Because I'm going to tell you, the Indians have the United States, too.
Right.
They don't run this.
Very true.
Okay.
Good point, William.
I mean,
so was it? But who had it? Was it the Palestinians or whatever?
I think it was. I think it was.
You think? You should know.
And then we rightfully stole it for Israel, right?
Right. Now, here's the deal on that. Wait, excuse me.
No.
I get your question. Here's the deal.
Can I finish?
If you have a state...
No, we don't want no deal.
Hold on, Maze. I'll let you respond, Maze, but let him finish.
I'll listen to you, Maze, but listen to this, Maze. If you have a state that behaves badly, throws a rock at an A1M1 Abrams tank, it's a joke. You don't have a military. You don't have a state or a flag of your behavior. You allow a terrorist group to run your show. That's why all your buildings are in rubble. Okay?
So can I finish now? For what you don't know.
So guess what? If the Indians tried to rear up against the United States government right now, they would get the same treatment. That's the answer to your question.
That's why I know you don't know what you're talking about. You're just babbling.
Yes.
As I say it. So where do
you can't mix? Because if you think about something here, you can't mix church. You can't mix state with church.
I'm not thinking. I'm thinking mine.
Okay. All right. Well, let me hear from. Let's hear from Mays now.
Can I ask him the question? Now, where are they giving? Why are we giving them money? Since they got such a big military and all this, why is America giving them money every year?
And we're going to give them the money, and you're going to get over it.
Because they're our greatest ally, Mace.
They are our greatest
Don't you know?
ally.
What country?
Aren't you the 11th or are you 12th grade? Are you the 12th or the 11th grade? They're our number one ally. You know what an ally is?
You just keep babbling. I'm asking you a question, you dummy.
Do you know what an ally is?
Yes, I do. Allies do not try to fight you. Do you hear me?
Okay, William, let Mays respond.
Allies try to fight.
Okay, go ahead, Mace.
Have they ever tried?
We know who's a state and we know who's not.
We know what you are. We know what you are. You want to know?
Don't be nasty, Mays. Just respond to his. Respond about allies and.
Personal attack.
We want to talk about allies. Do allies?
Hang on, William. Let me get Mays.
William, do allies attack you? Has they ever did anything to America? Did the Palestine ever do anything to America? Or which one of those places did something to America?
Are you saying that Israel has attacked America?
Have they ever?
Not on purpose. Allegedly not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
They've spied on us, but who hasn't spied? I mean, our government's an enemy of us.
That's what I'm saying. No, you don't get what I'm saying.
The USS Liberty was a mistake. They paid for it, right?
One is recognized as a state. You can't get over it. One is recognized as a state. One's not. Based on the
Why is that? Well, if you had some land and it was your land and they gave somebody a piece of yours, you're supposed to stay on the porch and only leave the other part alone. But that's just like you and the Native Americans.
It's sour grapes,
I'm looking at my history. You're not looking at yours.
If you beat a country, wait a minute. If you beat a country in a war, you don't have to give it back.
Nice.
And I have you beat a country. Well, in that case, the Alamo will be taken back because that's what y'all screwing about now.
It ain't going to.
Yeah, they're going to take it back.
Right.
Oh, yes, they're going to get it back. So you might well get ready for that.
Who's going to get what back?
Who did the Alamo belong to? Who did the Alamo belong to?
All right, very interesting, guys.
That's right, they have rocks. That's what I'm saying. In your ignorant state, if you got rocks and you got somebody else running to somebody with weapons, how do you ever...
I guess, Mace.
I got to go, guys. Very interesting.
You take your dumb self somewhere and sit down and be quiet because you don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you, William.
Yeah, right. If the Palestinians had
Black Lives Matter.
If the Palestinians had the same help,
take care, William. Good to hear from you.
You should be living out here in California because you're a liberal.
You're a heathen. That's why you complain about taking over.
All right, you too, William. Take care.
You got 3 more years of this madness
left. Go sit down somewhere.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
So, Mays.
No, I have a question. You see,
yeah. I hung up with William, but what's your question?
When I heard them say the Jews will not replace us, who are they trying to say the Jews are trying to replace? Somebody just like him.
Oh, no.
They're coming out his mouth.
What? That guy didn't say the Jews will not replace us?
No, I didn't. I say, well, what do they mean by that when they say it?
Because a lot of people who are running this country in America are Jewish people, and a whole lot of Jewish people are liberals who promote diversity stuff and unchecked immigration and refugees, and whites are being replaced. So that's why they're saying the Jews will not replace us.
Oh, so whites are saying Jews are going to replace them?
Yeah, because the Jews are... What they're saying is that the Jews are bringing in all of these immigrants and people who make all kinds of babies to replace whites so that whites no longer control America. Duh. It's very simple.
And you believe that's true?
Of course it's pretty obvious.
Oh. How?
How? Do you not see that whites are not making babies and then there's all these immigrants coming in?
And whose problem is that because you're not making babies?
It's whites' problem. That's why we're complaining.
Well, then why are you victim blaming? Your problem?
Why are you victim blaming?
Why are you bringing other people into your problem? Is them that's not having the babies?
Who are the other people?
But y'all more concerned.
No, hold on, Mace. What? You're pretending like all these immigrants are not coming into the country and making all kinds of babies. And like they've been coming in since 1965.
Before that, because when your
not so much before that, Mace. Not so much before that, Mace. Mace. It was not so much before 1965. 1965, they said, "Oh, your thing is racist. We have to let in everybody, especially Mexico." Duh.
So you just want this to be a Caucasian world, and that's it. Country.
Country, because we run the country better than anybody else.
You really?
Yes.
If they ran out of the businesses and companies out of this country and to some other place because they don't have any here anymore.
That wasn't us. That wasn't me. It wasn't us. It was not us.
Who did it?
I'm not going to say.
Black people, or was it from Native American people? Who did it?
I know that blacks have supported the destruction of America. They've been used to support the destruction of America. So
how
yes.
How did the jobs leave this country?
Bill Clinton.
Was it by who?
Bill Clinton with his NAFTA. NAFTA?
And what was Bill Clinton? What was Bill Clinton?
He's black. He was the first black president.
Really? You say so?
Yeah, I do say so.
Y'all got a mental problem, and you got a disease called hatred, but you want to call it love.
Very nice.
So that one that was on here talking and discussing, I don't have a clue about what he's talking about.
Yeah. All right.
So it's just like me giving him to my house.
Were you saying that Israel has attacked us?
I give you some. It's like me giving him some weapons and giving you some rocks. What can you do?
Were you saying that Israel has attacked us?
I'm asking you, have they ever did anything against America?
I'm just asking. Were you saying that Jews had attacked us?
No, I asked you the question, have they ever did anything against America?
I don't know. You're the one who brought it up.
Y'all contradict yourself when you say the Jews will not replace us, and then you're going to turn around and say, like, Israel is doing this. And then the communists, y'all was loving
Putin. Hold on. Those people who are saying, hold on, Mace. The ones who are saying the Jews will not replace us, they're not the supporters of Israel. So all whites are not a monolith, Maze. We're not like blacks.
Did I say all? I have sense enough to say.
No, you don't have any sense.
That's what y'all think is all.
You are rightfully named Maze because it's difficult to follow your line of thinking.
I know it is because
you're a mess.
Unless you know how to think and you got a mind of your own,
you have a good day.
To be in a maze and
you have
how
a good
to get
day.
out of it. Yeah, you tell that nut to go somewhere else with that crap he's pulling off.
Whoa. Watch your language.
So you have a good day.
Bye. Speaking of haters, Forever Rochelle gave another Streamlabs super chat, and it's the number _Rochelle. Is it Rochelle Walensky? Walensky, the scared CDC director? She says, y'all got the right one today. Y'all tried it, but I'm really about my bag today. Earl checked y'all racists, and you ain't have nothing to say as always. I can't wait for my sweetie Tony to call in, but Earl is bae with his cute self. Whoa. Did I read Some Little Ethnic Child? She said that Vroom sounds like Foo Fighters. Yeah, they kind of do, and a little bit Weezer-esque too later when I play other stuff. Okay. So, before I get to Rick in Hampton, Virginia, I have to show you this ridiculous Don Lemon, these clips from Don Lemon. Here's Don Lemon still running on about the January 6th thing and hating, basically this is about hating Trump. Don Lemon used to act like he was reasonable even though he was homosexual and liberal and on CNN. He used to pretend like, oh yeah, riots are bad. We shouldn't do riots. And then that communist guy who at least presents a slightly tougher image, Van Jones, slapped him, is like, shut up, Don Lemon. And then Trump came on the scene telling the truth, just being normal as a white male, conservative Christian. And Don Lemon went off the deep end, and now he's just nasty. Listen to this bitterness coming from Don Lemon smearing the mostly peaceful protests. And this is what he says. This is the headline. I got this from Breitbart, but he's a CNN guy. Black Lives Matter. White lies matter too. The GOP is whitewashing the Capitol riot. Listen to this guy. I have two parts to it.
On two fronts that I need to tell you about. We're going to take you, this is live in Washington, D.C. That's where Republicans are trying to whitewash the Capitol insurrection. They're trying to stop a bipartisan commission from getting to the truth of what happened on one of the darkest days in American history. Don't go to Arizona.
Give me a break.
Because don't send me your, are you still talking about the insurrection? Yes. And I'm going to continue to talk about it. So don't waste your finger energy, don't waste your breath, don't waste your time. It's important. I'm going to keep talking about it. And you know what? You're going to pay attention to it because you know it's wrong. Okay? So save your energy. Now I want to take you to Arizona. That's where a sham audit of ballots in Maricopa County, ballots that have already been counted over and over and over, a county Joe Biden won, is nothing but another effort to push this big lie. Nothing but another effort. And you need to know that it's being fought everywhere in between. Everywhere the big lie flourishes.
He's convincing me that there may be something to this, to these audits, right? Anyway, here he goes on. He goes on and on and on. Here's more of his mess. Just another like minute or so. And listen to just how nasty he is. He's like completely unlikable, acting like a woman, but worse, not morally straight male. Listen to this.
You're the party of insurrection now, the big lie. Don't say, that's not us. Those people don't represent us. Yes, they do. You let them take over your party. Now you're the party of insurrection. That's who you are. And the party of the big lie. Fake election fraud. The top Republican in the House trying to head off the January 6th commission before it's even begun.
Nice.
You scared, bro? Kevin, what are you afraid of? Huh? Shed some light on the subject. Let people know. You want all the ballots investigated? Or why not investigate what happened on January 6th if you want, as you say, transparency?
What a weirdo, huh?
Sources are telling our very own Jamie Gangel that Kevin McCarthy is worried about what the commission could uncover. Yeah, well, of course. Worried that he'll be called as a witness. Yep, he should be. And alienating everyone.
Kevin McCarthy's a rhino.
Well, you did it. And now after GOP leadership told members to vote their conscience on the commission, now they're doing a complete 180, urging them to vote no. So you're urging them to vote no. What if their conscience is not no? I thought you said vote your conscience, not no. Okay.
What a sarcastic woman,
That's her position, huh? That you can't be a Republican and also defend democracy. You can't be a Republican
Satan's
and vote
daddy.
your conscience.
He said, Republicans know it's true, yet they keep throwing more lies at the wall and hoping it will stick. Remember, like Grandma used to do it with the spaghetti. What kind of grandma did he have? No wonder. He said, the rioters, they were just like tourists. Oh, no, they were Antifa. Oh, no, they were Black Lives Matter. Okay, you saw that video. Did you see any black people? Yes. Did you see any Black Lives Matter? White lies matter, too. You just stole our word. You know how we say Black Lives Matter? Got him. He said white lies matter, not lives. Lies. Those are all lies. So anyway, just Don Lemon being silly Don Lemon. And by the way, there's another guy who on MSDNC said there's a huge difference between BLM holding signs, like that's all they were doing, and armed insurrectionists beating police. Excuse me, I don't think that there was anybody armed who was rioting, actually doing this riot at the mostly peaceful Capitol protest. Nobody armed, for the most part. There were some guys who were armed. They were militia, but those were not participating in the destruction or the assaults. FYI. Take care, Business Bear. Ouch. Ouch. Anyway. Oh, real quick, let me get to Rick in the last minute I have here. Rick in Hampton, Virginia, how are you doing?
Man, James, how you doing, my brother?
Doing fine, thank you.
Good to hear from you guys, man. I just wanted to comment on North Carolina on that Andrew Brown case.
Are you on a speakerphone, Rick?
No, can you hear me?
No. What in the world?
I'm on a regular phone. Can you hear me now, James?
Yeah. What were you on?
Yeah, I was saying. I was on speakerphone. No, I had to move around. Well,
Bluetooth.
I work on certain part of the base. No.
Okay.
Like certain parts of the base, I get on. It can phase in and fade out.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just want to talk about the decision that came up with North Carolina, that Andrew Brown case. Yeah, I'm glad. Hello, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Our minute is up, man. We'll have to talk about it tomorrow. Thank you, Rick. It's good to hear from you, though.
You too. Love y'all. Y'all be good.
Try to make it to the men's conference if you can.
Hello?
Try to make it to the men's conference if you can.
Yeah, I would like to try and make it there. That's going to be a whole weekend, ain't it?
It's going to be Saturday evening, and then Sunday morning we'll have church. Over in Orlando, Florida. Okay. JesseLeePeterson.com or rebuildingtheman.com. Thanks, Rick. I got to go. Take care.
Okay, look at you.
All right. James in Texas and the rest of the callers, I cannot get to you. No, I'm not going to read that. Take care, Business Bear. He said that Don Lemon doesn't sit on a chair. when he's doing his thing. Oh, yeah, and Daniel says, this is supposed to be a reputable news source, CNN? Ridiculous. Stay off the rock stars and Red Bulls. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate the advice. This has been the Hake Report, thehakereport.com/show for my stuff. JesseLeePeterson.com for JLP's stuff. RebuildingTheMan.com/church for Sunday service throwback. It's happening at 4 p.m. Pacific time today. A premiere on the Bond Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel. Thanks, guys. Take care.
What?